Alright, yun. Magandang araw and good day again to everyone who will be watching this video. So this is Bearyo again doing our daily process and market update video where I discuss what happened with the markets today and didiscuss ko rin yung mga ginawa ko din for today's trading session. So today is Feb 13, 2025 around 10:06 a.m. Philippine time. So yun, medyo may free time tayo right now in this time. So anyway, what happened today? Percent of indices up for today, 28.57%. So majority of the major indices declined for today's session dahil dun sa CPI data and inflation data. Percent of indices up for the week, 14.29%. Percent of indices above the 10 and 20 day, so less than 50%, nasa 42.86%. One good thing is that percent of indices above the 50 day, mas madaming indices na above the 50 day moving average. So right now, yung mga strongest indices natin are the following: Nasdaq equally weighted, Nasdaq market cap weighted, yung Qs natin, and the market cap weighted S&P 500. So, etong tatlong index na to are above the 10 and 20 day moving average and above the 50 day moving average. So, ito yung mga index na kailangan natin pag-focusan actually. So, ito yung nagpapakita ng relative strength despite bad news. So, ito yung headline for today's session. CPI data, hot CPI data. Core inflation rate month on month for January 0.4%. Yung expected is 0.3%. Previous month 0.2%. So ang nangyari is nagkaroon tayo ng big spike in inflation, halos 0.2%. And yung year-on-year inflation, we experienced an uptick right now, 3.3%. Hindi pala. Actually, last month downtick but this month nagkaroon tayo ng uptick. Then non-core inflation 0.5%, 0.3% lang expected, higher than the previous month as well. Inflation rate year-on-year 3%. So eto, another uptick in the year-on-year inflation non-core. So almost pang ilang months na to, isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat. So meron na tayong pattern, di ba? So meron na tayong pattern na nagkakaroon tayo ng uptrend or rise in inflation talaga. So that's a bad sign for equities actually. Yun yung pinaka conventional wisdom kasi bababa yung probability for rate cuts. I think ang expected rate cuts from September na move to December. Then ayun, ang nangyari is bababa yung probabilities for rate cuts. So yeah, ang nangyari for today's session, S&P 500 down 0.32%. The Qs actually up by 0.06%, so that's good. IWM negative 0.92%. So, small caps natin medyo talagang tinatamaan and MDY natin medyo tinatamaan dahil na rin sa pag-angat ng ating US 10-year bond yields. So, right now, US 10-year bond yields are breaking out of the 20-day moving average, itong gain line natin. So, ito yung mga index natin. So, let's do an index review. So, the S&P 500 initially gapped down towards this 50-day moving average and this volume point of control. So, strong support level talaga tong $600 area plus the VPOC or the volume point of control area and the 50-day moving average. So, initially gapped down. So, actually, nung pre-market, napapabenta na ako, I was actually worried na baka magkaroon tayo ng gap and crap talaga, yung tipong gap down and then follow through to the downside kasi yun nga inflation data is quite critical critical right now, pero yun nga after the gap down, bulls stepped in and they proved their strength na they can support this market and they don't care about the inflation data. Right now, the Qs, same character. Ang nangyari is, initially gap down, found its support at the volume point of control from this 3-month VPOC, and then the 50-day moving average. So, strong support area din talaga to. And ito yung line ng sun natin right now. If in the following days we close below this VPOC area, a bearish candle close below this area, then doon tayo magkakaroon ng true risk off signal. So MDY tumutulo pa rin, still below the 100-day moving average. So stay away from mid-cap names. IWM as well, below the 50 and all key moving averages. Yung 50-day natin is now downsloping. Itong candle natin, despite a green candle, it's a full candle close. 2 days full candle close below the 20-day, 10-day, 50-day, and 100-day moving average. So medyo dapat mag-ingat tayo in small caps and mid cap names. Ang priority natin is to deploy capital on large cap growth names, large cap value names. So Dow Jones showing strength pa din, still above the 50-day, 100-day moving average. And almost pang ilang araw na to in a trading range. Almost 20 days na ata in a trading range, 21 days, 20 days in a trading range. So right now, mukha siyang double top, pero regardless, ang pinaka-importante dyan, we're finding support at the 20-day moving average. So yung Dow Jones natin is a proxy for value stocks. Mga financial stocks, healthcare stocks, walang mga tech stocks under Dow Jones. So RSP, okay, so RSP kahit na tumutulo below the 100-day moving average, halos malapit lang din sa 100-day moving average. And if we're gonna look at the 3-month VPOC area, tignan natin if below the VPOC tayo. So since presidential election announcement or results, so actually below the VPOC area tayo. So 182 yung VPOC area. So below VPOC, ibig sabihin bears are in control or sellers are in control. So across all equally weighted S&P 500 names, bears are in control. Pero in terms of the market cap weighted, nagpapakita ng strength talaga yung bulls natin in the big cap tech or large cap tech names. Equally weighted Qs. Another story or different story with RSP and mid caps, small caps. Ito nagpapakita siya ng strength. Above the 10-day, 20-day, 50-day, and 100-day moving average. Tapos malapit na tayo sa all-time high breakout. So right now, ito yung mga top indices natin. SPY Qs and equally weighted Qs. Ito yung mga red flag red flag indices. Or pwede rin Dow Jones, no? Medyo nasa midpoint yan. Yung Dow Jones natin. So you can look for stocks under this indices. So yeah, ito yung mga natin, daily relative strength data natin. Basically, IWM, MDY, RSP underperform the SPY. And the equally weighted Qs outperform the Qs by actually halos pares lang 0.08% lang. Right now, in terms of our moving average based market breadth, most MA breadth benchmarks natin are below the bullish cutoff. So below 50%, bears are in control. So percent of stocks above the 20-day, 43.69%. Percent of stocks above the 50-day, moving average 45.22%. 100-day moving average 47.82%. Percent of stocks that advanced for today's session, 37.87%. Below the bullish cutoff natin of 50%. Ito, percent of stocks with volume spikes, positive volume spikes, 13.15%. So, green light means good. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon tayo ng significant enough volume spikes, positive volume spikes for today's session. Ibig sabihin, nandyan yung bulls mo with volume. So may hidden relative strength in the market right now. So kailangan lang natin maging selective. So market state, we're still in a risk of market environment. Momentum composite score is still below 50%. We're still in quick swings type of market. So ideally, dapat ang portfolio exposure range mo is nasa 33 to 50% lang ng capital mo exposed. So, if you have a $100K portfolio, dapat 50K lang exposed. So, right now, I am actually 70% deployed, 30% in cash. So, yung cash ko na yan is under reserve. Kumbaga, pag may mga setups na nag-present or may nagpakitang setups in this kind of market environment, I'll be willing to take it as long as maganda yung setup. So may priority setup right now or fresh earnings plays, yung mga day 1 earnings, day 2 earnings. So more on quick swings type of setups lang. Hindi ka para mag-commit ng multi-day, multi-week holding period. So market is very uncertain right now or ang daming market uncertainties right now. So kailangan natin maging agile. Kailangan natin maging agile. So earnings, what's up with earnings right now? Up during after hours by 27.81%, bros 24.68%, hood 14.5% up for today's session or after our session. So ito yung mga key highlights natin for today's fresh earnings plays. So basically itong Uplovin up to iron. So actually yesterday I sold my Uplovin. Saan ba 'yan? Ipat natin dito. Wait lang yan. Uplovin. Binenta ko tong Uplovin ko and before earnings kasi dapat nag-unload ka ng holdings mo kasi hindi mo binary event yan eh. It's either it's gonna gap down or it's gonna gap up. Yun, sorry, medyo nabubulol. But basically, ang kailangan mong gawin dyan, you need to de-risk. Hindi mo masasabi kung mag-gap up or gap down. So, kailangan safety lang tayo, lalong-lalo na yesterday. To sa bearish environment or papunta tayo dun sa state na yun. Hindi natin alam if we're gonna end up or if we're gonna close positively. So, doon lang ako sa probability na safe ako na benta ko siya at a positive at again, benta ko siya at again. So, I sold it at 378.67. I bought this at around 360. I bought this at around 368 dito sa breakout area, T60, 361. So, binenta ko siya at T78. So, onting gains pero importante naiwasan ko yung potential gap down. And ang kailangan ko na lang gawin is to trade this day one setup. So, right now, it's creating a pre-market base. Yun, so ito yung mga earnings highlights natin. So, that's that. Later on, mas i-discuss natin siya in-depth, no? Yung mga setups in this fresh earnings plays. So, today's session, ano yung nangyari with our general macro? Sorry, medyo sidetrack ako. Ayun nga, what happened with general macro is DXY, despite a hot CPI data, it's still below the 20-day and 50-day moving average, di ba? Ang pinaka natin dyan, susundan niya lang yung US 10-year yields in which mag-rally din siya pero dollar is still weakening. Most likely due to a weak or a weaker US oil, weaker US oil. So US oil yesterday tested the 20-day moving average and then what happened? Dumped below the 50-day and 100-day moving average. So medyo tied up or in correlation talaga yung DXY natin or the dollar with US oil. So, ang goal talaga ni Trump is to bring down US oil prices para bumaba yung inflation or yung overall inflation, most specifically yung PCA data since yun nga yung pinaka-preferred data ng Fed. And at the same time, one of the mandates of Trump admin, sabi nga ni Scott Bessent na instead of influencing the Fed on the Fed funds rate, ang gagawin na lang nila is influence nila ang US 10-year yields. Yung TNX, basically yung TNX. And, ayun nga, since yung US 10-year yields, yan talaga yung naka-apekto with the capital markets. Yung cost of capital, yan yung may big effect or big correlation with MDY, mid-caps, small caps, and small businesses. And even mortgage rates. Hindi yung Fed funds rate. So, let's see ano yung gagawin talaga ng Treasury Department on how they can influence the US 10-year yields. Ang gusto natin makita with the US 10-year yields is to go lower, di ba? To go lower. But right now, nagkaroon tayo ng initial reaction dahil yun nga, meron tayong CPI data na quite hot. So, that's our US 10-year yields. Maybe if ma-drain completely na yung natin, yung reverse repo facility, onti na lang, 67 billion na lang yung natitira sa ating reverse repo facility. Once it drains down to zero, maybe doon na magkaroon ng big actions yung Treasury Department para to bring down the US 10-year yields. So if they successfully do that, that's gonna be good for equities. That's gonna be good for the stock market, for the crypto markets. Pero right now, crypto markets medyo alanganin pa din. So yeah, looking at gold, yun nga, gold is still strong. Tested the 2950 level, yung 1618 measured target natin. Got rejected right now, coiling or creating an inside bar candle or inside bar move or price action. So gold, if it touches the 10-day moving average and then rallies again, next target mo is 3K. Line on saan mo yung 10-day moving average. If it closes below the 10-day moving average, next support area mo is most probably at 2,800. Yun yung deep retracement area. So that's gold. Let's look at silver. Still building up near this resistance area and structure resistance natin. So this is good action. Ang pwede mong gawin dyan, you can look for silver miners. Silver miners, ano ba yung silver miners na ETF? Yan, SIL at saka silver miners na SILJ. Pwede mong gawin dyan, you can look for individual names in SILJ. Punta ka sa finviz.com or finviz scanner mo. And then, incorporate an ETF screen. And if you want to look for, saan ba yun? Hold on. Yan, dito sa screener natin. Pinutin mo tong all SILJ. So if you want to look for silver miner names, nandyan. Junior silver miner names. Yan. So, check mo na lang if may mga setups. If wala, scratch mo. So, ito, maganda to. BVN. Ito, maganda rin to, I think. Itong HYMC. So, mga small cap nga lang, no? Mga small cap or micro cap. So, pwede mong gawin dyan, sell na lang. Yung mga major or big silver miners natin. BVN, yun nga, kanina, BVN. Ito, MUX. Maganda rin tong, saan ba to? May nakita ko dito kahapon eh. Ito, WPM, I think, may potential to. WPM. It's building up near all-time high. WPM, or 52-week high. So, if you are bullish silver, you are bullish gold, can trade gold miners, GDX. GDX, if you want to go leverage, Nugget, buy Nugget. If you want to buy silver, pwedeng SILJ, or SLV. Or bilhin mo na yung SLV mismo, di ba? If you want to track silver. So, now let's move forward to crypto. Still below the 100k level. Yung critical area natin na round number area. So, if we break above the 100k level, we're gonna break above the 20-day moving average as well. And maybe sooner or later, we're gonna break the 105 level or itong all-time high area. So, it's almost 3 months in a base na rin. Halos tinatrak niya lang din yung yung equities natin. Pangit lang talaga dito with BTCs, it's below the 50-day moving average. Parang halos katulad siya ng MDY para sa akin pati IWM. Below the key moving average, 50-day moving average. So, yun. BTC, other major 4 coins, medyo alanganin din. So, total pass with other cryptos. Or if you are long term, pwede ka mag DCA, di ba? Pero it's up to you. Yung sa akin, ang DCA ko lang yung Bitcoin eh. So, now let's move forward to Philippine equities. So, kahapon, today, nagkakaroon tayo ng counter rally. But, what I think, as long as USD PHP stays elevated, ayun nga, initially, nag-go below 100-day moving average tayo, pero it counter rallied. It's now testing the 50-day moving average as resistance. Pero if it re-breaks 58.50, 58.60, 58.60, medyo pangit yun for Philippine equities. Maybe magkaroon pa tayo ng another down move for Philippine equities. Next, support level mo dyan, most likely is at 5.8, 5.8, or itong 5.7 area. 5.7 area. Wag naman sana itong COVID low, di ba? Pero yeah, medyo may systemic issue talaga yung Philippine equities. There are some outliers like DG+, di ba? DG+, STI, saan ba yan? STI, yan, potentially magbe-breakout na yan. Converge, pwede rin, di ba? Converge. So, kailangan mo lang maging selective on the stocks you're trading if you're a pure PSE trader. Pero ako, wala na akong exposure in Philippine equities. So, ayan. Now, let's look at sectors. Ilang minutes na ba ako nagsalta? 19 minutes. So, let's look at sectors. Bilisan lang natin. So, sectors. Ano yung strongest sectors for today's session? Looking at the daily changes, majority of the sectors are down. Only one sector is up, which is the comms sector, communication sector. So, strongest sectors, yung mga strongest sectors natin are the following, yung mga above the 10 and 20-day moving average. So, communications, utilities, staples, tech sector. Wait lang, sorry, nausog. So, So, tech sector, real estate sector, and ayun nga, ito lang. Ito lang yung mga above the 10 and 20-day moving average natin. Financials below the 10-day moving average na. So, medyo naapektuhan talaga siya ng ng CPI data kahapon. So, market groups, ito yung strongest market groups natin. So, in terms of composite scores, anything above 70 or 60%, yun yung mga strongest sectors natin. So, top 20 sectors, semiconductors up to gold miners. So, gold miners, China equities, ito talaga yung mga top sectors natin. No? So, leisure entertainment, ito interesting to. Mga casino names. Although walang data available, wala tayong data available. So, pwede mong gawin, manually mo lang tignan dito sa ating for itong Finviz Elite, sorry. Yan, hanap ka setups dyan if you want to look for setups in the leisure and entertainment sector. So, you can individually scan the dito, the charts, and then hanapan mo ng setups. Ang mga favorite setups ko, yung mga post-earnings talaga. So, for example, itong Expedia, despite me being stopped out with Expedia, I'm looking for a re-entry. So, nagkaroon siya ng power earnings gap. Tapos, I believe all-time high or all-time high breakout tong Expedia. So, if it breaks above all-time high level, very significant move yun. So, I'm expecting a 10-day, 15-day coil. Maybe it's gonna test the 10-day moving average tulad nung ginawa ni Netflix. Maybe it's just waiting for the 10-day moving average kiss and rally. So, gap up, consolidated, kiss the 10-day moving average and proceeded to rally. So, yun. If you want to look for leisure names. Diba? So, other sectors I am looking at, ayun nga, metals and mining, di yan mawawala. IPOs, favorite sector, favorite market group ko din yan. Nandyan yung A-Lab, nandyan yung Reddit, RBRK, Lore, GitLab, Clavio, mga malalakas na names, IPO names. Mga recently IPO names. Semiconductors, despite being weak, may mga outliers din dyan like ARM Holdings. Yan. So, after earnings, although nagpakita siya ng strong momentum move, antayin muna natin mag-recover above the earnings candle low. Then, it will be an undercut and reclaim of the earnings candle low. That's a setup. That's one of my main setups. An undercut and reclaim of the earnings candle low. So, nandito yan sa ating post-earnings calls and basis pullbacks na watchlist. So if you want a copy of our watchlist, nandiyan na yan sa ating watchlist. Andito na yan sa watchlist natin. Saan ba yan? Yan, dito sa watchlist na channel natin. So, copy nyo lang yan and then makikita nyo na yung mga stocks on watch ko. So, ano pa ba? Now let's discuss my market action. So, initially, yun nga, hindi naman totally panic selling, but I was de-risking slowly yesterday on CPI data. So, after CPI data, nagsilaglagan lahat ng holdings ko. Nagsilaglagan yung mga holdings ko like yung Magnite ko na break-even stop, yung Palantir ko, yung runner position ko, yung 1/4 ng original position ko, na stopped out din at break-even at 110. So, I decided to sell these stocks at break-even na lang din or at least at 1 hour multiple. So, thankfully, nakapagbenta tayo kahapon before CPI data. Pero yun nga, nag-rally din yung Palantir. So, I think, in hindsight, di ba? It was a bad sell, pero hindi talaga natin alam ano yung mangyayari with the markets. So, ang kailangan na natin gawin is to repivot, to reset, and create buyback plans. So, Palantir, it's creating a 4-day consolidation range. Maybe mag-create siya ng post-earnings coil, a 10-day kiss and rally, tulad na nangyari dito. So, nag-resist siya at $60, $61, nag-consolidate, chop around at this level and then tested the 10-day moving average and then proceeded to rally. So maybe ganun din yung gawin niya. So I'm just gonna revisit this name na lang. So that's Palantir, one of my trades na the break-even stop. Magnite as well, I got stopped out at break-even. Pero right now, it's gapping down post-market at 1940. I don't know why, pero I think it was a good sell. Maybe, ang nangyayari dito, may issue with, maybe, ayun nga, may mga recent earnings releases, si Uplovin, si Bros, in other stocks, maybe may effect yun with Magnite. Kaya nag-gap down siya post-market. So maybe yung competitor niya maganda yung earnings, so maybe ito kaya nag-gap down. So ang sa akin lang, ang kailangan ko na lang gawin dito is wait for another setup. Maganda pa rin naman siya. Looking at Magnite, it's a clear transition to stage 2 markup. So ito yung stage 1 accumulation mo. Right now, it's under stage 2. Stage 2. Maybe if it creates another inside bar, I mean, if it creates a 10-day moving average kiss and rally, that's a setup I can look at. So Tempus AI, I'm still holding this name. On other portfolios, I already sold partials at $78. I'm still holding some of this name. So nandito yan. Sabi. Yan, ito yung Tempus AI position. So it's up by 13,570. So one of the main positions na humihila talaga ng portfolio. So, dito na tayo sa swing port A. So, medyo iba yung discard ko doon. Ang kailangan lang natin gawin dito is, ayun nga, IPO base breakout setup to. If it breaks out, okay, maganda siya. If hindi, at least nakapagbenta na tayo partials. So, GE Aerospace, breaking above this post-earnings base. So, after earnings, it gapped up. Initially, closed below, I mean, nag-pull back siya below the earnings anchored VWAP. So, nag-pull back siya or I mean, nag-undercut siya ng earnings candle low dito sa 198. Reclaimed the earnings candle low and then created the base, mini base. I bought this at 206, added yesterday. So, all-time high stock to, guys. All-time high stock. GE Aerospace. So, ang ginawa ko yesterday, I added dito sa continuation pattern on the first initial move. Continuation pattern ito. Wide stops at 205. So, itong opening, itong pre-market low. Ito yung pre-market session eh. Pre-market low ko sinet yung stops ko. With my tranche 2. So, GE Aerospace. Netflix, I believe nagdagdag din nata ako yesterday. Tignan natin Netflix. Sa ibang port pala yun. Anyway, I bought initially CFLT. Ito yung trades ko with CFLT. So, pinost ko sa group ata natin yung trade idea with CFLT. Ano ba yun? Di pala. SLQT pala yun. Pero nandito yun sa... ang alam ko, diniscuss ko yun kahapon sa ating daily process video. My initial plan was to probe around above the anchored VWAP. If it gets stopped out, tapos magkaroon na undercut and reclaim dito sa anchored VWAP, I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy that. Ang nangyari lang, hindi ako naka-buy at 3360, 3370. Hindi na na-fill yung buy stop limit ko. I ended up buying at the break of this pre-market high, yung PM high, $35. Stops ko, nilagay ko slightly below the AVWAP. Then, right now, it's near my targets at 39. So, ang gagawin ko lang dito, quick swing, ano lang siya, setup, quick swing type of move lang. I'm gonna sell half at my initial target. So, $41, ano kasi yan resistance level kasi to, $41. Tapos, stage 1 stock pa rin siya. I'm not sure if magiging earnings-driven breakout to. So, we shall see. Kailangan ko lang gawin is to stay light and to stay agile. Ang dami namang setups na nagpapakita Like, Bros, Uplovin, mga pre-market bases. So, i-rotate ko lang yung pera ko towards these fresh earnings, yung mga fresh earnings gappers. Yan, fresh earnings gappers. Yan. Mga pegs. Yun. So, SLQT, I got stopped out yesterday. Earnings capper din to. Ito yung initial tranche ko. Got stopped out. Nag-rebuy ako ng anchored VWAP. Reclaim, AVOP reclaim. Kasi stopped out din ako. Ang maganda lang na ginawa ko dito, super light lang ng risk ko. So, $200 risk. Dito naman, $400 risk. 0.75 VAR loss lang siya overall. So, itong port na to, 260K yung account value. So, $600 divided by 260K. Halos 0.23% VAR lang. So, small VAR losses lang. So, sa CFLT, I got stopped out $400 at this point. So, CFLT dito. Ito yung initial sell ko with CFLT. 34.25, 32.51, 290 shares. Compute natin para makita nyo. 34.25 minus 32.51. Ito yung risk per unit times 290. Halos $500 loss, $400 loss. So, relative to the portfolio, super small lang. 0.25 VAR, 0.25% VAR. Sa rebuy ko, $400 risk lang din nilagay ko with this portfolio. So, yeah, CFLT. One of my trades yesterday. One of my missed trade yesterday. Upstart. Itong Upstart, dapat dito, ito yung trade plan ko eh. Ito yung trade plan ko with Upstart. So, based dito lang sa, sa decline range, targets ko is at $90. So, initially, dapat take profit na ako at $90. So, in hindsight, dapat nakuha ko to. Pero, I failed to execute this. Hindi na fail yung buy stop limit order ko. Initially, nagpo-pull back. Tapos, mga first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes, naglagay ako ng buy stop limit dito at 81.90. Pero po siya, hindi ako na-fill. So, iniwan ko na, hinayaan ko na. Dito na ako sa CFLT. So, ano din to? Stage 2 markup stock din to. Transitioning to stage 2 markup stock. So, ito mga earnings-driven transitions, market-phase transitions, mga significant yan. Significant events yan. So, what you can do is wait for a post-earnings coil, wait for a post-earnings base, pullback, whatever. Then, trade that. Tulad ng nangyari sa Netflix trade ko. So, mga post-earnings, breakouts, bases, blah, blah, blah. So, another stock I'm holding is Asana. So, Asana, initially pulled back dito sa 50-day moving average. Binibigyan ko talaga to ng breathing room. Gusto ko talaga tong stock na to. Ang ganda ng pullback niya. Then, it's about to transition to stage 2 markup. So, ang laki ng upside potential niya overall. Ito yung stage 2 transition niya eh. Earnings-driven transition to stage 2. Stage 2 markup. So, after earnings, nag-rally, nag-pull back sa 50-day, retested the 50-day as support, nag-rally, or nag-create ng pullback base, nag-create ng accumulation base, mini accumulation base at the lower time frame. So, yun yung tinetrade ko right now. Slowly, I'll be adding on the way up. Since, ayun nga, stage 2 markup stock to, ang laki ng upside potential na ito. So, not too hype, pero that's just how I operate. May ibang swing plays, may mga short-term swing plays, meron ako mga somewhat conviction bets, mga doon ako nag-load up, nagdadagdag ng possession. So, isa to sa mga nakikita ko. Although medyo volatile and malapit ni earnings. So, March 10. So, another setup I am trading right now is Cool R. So, nag-breakout dito sa 20-day moving average right now, nagpo-pull back siya. So, super small size lang muna yung ginawa ko with Cooler. $200 lang, $200 risk lang ata ito. And nag-iba lang yung nakalagay. Pero, stops ko at quite wide, slightly below $2. So, I'm planning if it breaks out of this channel pullback, doon ako magdadagdag. So, that's Cooler. So, these are the names I'm looking at right now for a day 1 setup. Uplovin, pre-market base, breakout. I'm gonna wait for a anchored view up reclaim or anchored view up dip. Hindi ko siya habulin on the breakout. Medyo overextended na rin. Hood as well. I'm gonna wait for a pre-market pullback. MGM also pre-market base. Meron ka dyang RSI bear div. So wait for a pullback. Cisco as well, pre-market base, another setup na quite interesting. Maybe by the break of 67.20, just trade the initial surge. Iron, eto. After earnings, medyo nag-move lower pero nag-hold up dito sa $13 area. If it manages to break above this post-market high, I think it will move higher. Kasi at the daily time frame, nandun na tayo sa point na possibly mag-breakout siya dito sa channel. Sa channel na to. Channel or trading range na lang, no? Trading range. So, earnings-driven breakout. So, usually naman, on earnings, hindi naman siya totally nag-gap up. Character niya, it opens in range tapos nag-rally. Or nag-move low. Nag-rally or sundan niya yung true movement niya. Pero in terms of revenues, tingnan natin yung revenues ni Iron na. Rising revenues to eh. Rising revenues. So, eto, imagine this. Starting with nung December 2021, 20 million revenues lang. Right now, September 2024. Q4 date. Q4 earnings. 113 million na yung kanyang revenues. So, rising revenues is good. Rising revenues. So, significant yun. Significant yun. So, let's see if mag-materialize tong Iron. Reddit, eto medyo sinusupalpal right now. Pero, I'm looking at possible counter rally. So, if I see an accumulation base pre-market, maybe I'll buy that breakout. So, kunyari, mag-create ng ganito, create ng ganyan. Maybe I'll buy the breakout, stops ko dito, or slightly below that area. Or if it breaks above the AVWAP, actually above AVWAP na siya eh. Ito yung earnings reaction. Start tayo dito. Ito yung AVWAP mo. Nag-reclaim na siya ng AVWAP. Iwas ka lang dito to go long if it's below the AVWAP. Diba if i-invert mo siya, para siyang yung typical setup natin na AVWAP dip, AVWAP bear trap, tapos rally. Pero in this case, if it persists or sustains above this AVWAP, maybe makahanap tayo ng setup in which it's gonna reclaim this area, 218. So, all-time high kasi ito eh, itong Reddit. So, I think may potential siya. Tulad nung ginawa na itong Roblox. Initially, gap down. Ito, nag-create siya ng gap down. Saan ba yan? Earnings. Ito Earnings gap down. Na-reclaim yung AVWAP or nag-create siya ng counter rally. Nag-inside bar, breakout, tapos nag-rally papuntang $68. So, pwede mo siyang i-exploit yung mga tipong mga ganitong klaseng 1 to 2 hour multiple trades, 1 hour multiple trades. So, pwede mo siyang kunin just a quickie move. Diba? So, ayun. Yun lang muna yung na-prepare ko. So far, right now, in this portfolio, I am 50% in cash. 50% in cash. 51% in cash. So later, I'm gonna do some day trades or short-term swing trades. Mainly mga fresh earnings plays. Tapos, I bought Grab. I bought call options in Grab holdings. So, 24 contracts. So, I'm betting na Grab will gap up on earnings. Lapit na earnings na, Feb 20. So, I bought the Feb 28 contract. Feb 28 expiry. So, if we're gonna look at Grab, it's on a stage 2 markup. So, I think may potential itong Grab holdings. So, let's see. Yun. So, for today's session, ang pinaka-critical right now is yung PPI data. If super higher than expected, tipong 0.5%, maybe the market will react again to the downside. Diba? If it's lower, maybe the market will rally or continue its recovery. So ito yung kailangan natin tignan for today's session. 9:30 PM yung ano niya, yung release ng data. So ayun, see you again on the next video. If you have any questions, chat nyo lang ako. See you again on the next daily process and market update video. Ingat kayo, God bless and goodbye.